right, we got a new one for the subscriber, and we're working on his car, and it's a 91 Pontiac Firebird convertible with an LS swap that we were fixing a lot of the wiring on. It's already a lot nicer. I forgot to film an intro, so we'll dig right into this, and we'll go back to where I started the video. What's up, guys? So one of you guys watch the channel now, and I have one of your cars, and we're gonna straighten all of this stuff out. So I pulled all the electrical out, and it's Rebel LS. We're gonna get this ran proper. We're gonna get rid of all of this wiring that I've already started pulling out. We're gonna probably move this ECU too inside the car. We'll see. We're gonna try and do this as fast and lost for words here. So basically we're gonna get it straightened out. So what I'm starting at is I'm getting everything off here. There's a breaker and all that. So what we're gonna be doing is getting rid of this. This is back from the main power. We're gonna go directly to the starter to the alternator, this electric power steering pump, which is great, but no point in running all the way over and whatever. The ECU needs to be isolated. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get that isolated with its own power and grounds. But we can basically come off the power with this, which doesn't need a cable that big. We're going to go right back to the back of the alternator, power this, back of the alternator, power the fuse box. Basically, a lot of stuff's going to disappear really fast, and it's not terrible. It runs and stuff. We're going to get the fuel. We got to get the fuel system straightened out and stuff like that. But we're going to clean this up a lot. We're going to get rid of a lot of things. So let me get to it a little bit here, and I'll be right back, I guess. No point in setting up the tripod. So yeah, give me a few minutes, and we'll get this cleaned up a little bit. All right, it's about a minute. Well, it's the next day. Anyway, so we started getting all this stuff out of here. As you can see, we got a pile over here. And like I said, we're gonna address the ECU. So, under the dash in these cars, you pull the dash off and whatnot, because you don't need it anymore. The ECU slides up in here, and there's a little bracket, which is nice. So the ECU just snaps into this thing on the Trans Ams and Firebirds and stuff. So I pulled it out, and here's the great part about all this. If you look at this Rebel LS next to the factory ECU, although I'm going to trim this plastic off, I slide it right in there. I'm going to mount it. This flips around the back side. I'm just going to trim this a little bit right here. All the wiring will plug in. So basically, I just got to make a bulkhead through the firewall right there that somebody already started. I just got to open it up a little bit to get those through. And then we'll have the ECU inside the car. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to get this all cut off, get this mounted to this plastic piece, and we're starting to look good here. And I've got the original bulkhead unhooked right now because there was like a little fuse box and stuff like that attached to it. And all we really need at this point is you got your power right here, the red wires that they ran, and then the pink, I believe, if I remember correctly, sends power out. Purple is the starter signal as I'm recording the floor. And we'll probably eliminate all that, and we'll control the ECU, or we'll have the ECU control the starter. So basically we just need the power in and just a couple of these out, and the rest is all the headlights and harnesses and stuff like that. So we're going to eliminate a lot of that bulkhead. For the fuel system, we're going to cut these back. The original lines, that's the return, that's the send. Might do the regulator there or back there. We'll see how much room we have, and we'll get that all straightened out here shortly. But the biggest thing is getting everything out and out of the way. I still got to get these out through the car, and I might use one as a starter deal. We're gonna have to ground this motor really good, and then like I said, I'm gonna have to fish that into the car through that hole. So I'm gonna get to it, and I'll come back once the ECU's mounted and stuff like that. This can basically go in the pile of the pile that we're starting here. Fortunately, there's enough wire that I can probably reuse a lot of this stuff, and we'll see. So let me get back to it. We're getting some progress here. All right, here we go. Got it. And I'll try to film this. I got runny nose. This is not fun. Oh, there's my hat I was looking for. So we're in the car. All right. And if you look up in here, I might be able to get a good picture of it. A big hole. You just kind of take this here ECU. It flips around this way. So the wiring's going to come up and in. And we're just going to slide that up there. There's a hole that the top sits in. I'm hitting the wiring harness right now. But basically, well, this is hard with one hand. So if I move the harness there, it'll go through, sit on these two tabs and screw in, and we're done. That's mounted. Awesome. All right, so let me get this hole in the firewall, and let me get this mounted up and wiring jammed in the car. Well, I gotta make a grommet too, so let's see what we can do. All right, we're back. The weekend went by, whatever. Got most of this cleaned up. Gotta do some wire management over here, but with the heater box in and stuff, the harness fits down in there perfect. We're gonna sort a little more of this out after, and then get rid of this and get that all neat. We might have to address these lines. Actually, we're gonna have to. Unfortunately, we might have to pull the engine to do it. So we'll see. But that and the bulkhead. So I've got actual stainless steel ground straps on this now. Started working on the power steering, but everything is daisy chained off the alternator. So we got the power going into the car, power for the power steering pump, and then we have the power for the other stuff. The electric water pump, I'm actually probably just going to hook straight up to the Heltec, and that's going to power that because it's only like 12 amps to run that, and we got 25 amps out. That way the ECU can control it, and I might be able to pulse with it. We'll see, which will prolong the life on it a lot. So I'm pulling the rest of this wire back, and I have to address the throttle pedal right now. So this is going to clean up even more. Oh, and we got the regulator on the rail. Ran down with push locks into the factory fuel lines. And now we got fuel pressure, all that good stuff. So I got to pull that pedal bracket out and stuff and get the wiring back out so I can actually run it through the car. And like I said, this is going to clean up a lot more. So we'll be right back. All right, we got a little farther here and then a few setbacks, but we've got this cleaned up a lot. Still got to deal with that bulkhead and whatever's going on with the headlight module. Got the fans all hooked up, stuff like that. And pretty much got this situated. Fuel pump wiring ran, ECU wiring ran. Just got to hook these up to the ECU and then start tucking stuff like that. Now, so I went to do the starter cut relay bypass and things like that, and then I found out, oh boy, here we go. So I've got some stuff to rip out of this car. So I had a security system in it, and we're going to be pulling all that out because we don't have a remote or anything in for it anymore. So I got a mess going on under here. So we got to rip all this out, and there's my starter cut relay, and bypass that, and that way we can hook the starter back up to our purple wire in the bulkhead, and the key will crank the car over like normal because we're not worried about the fuel pump. We don't have the stock ECU, none of that stuff. That's the thing. When you're doing an LS swap in one of these cars, none of that's needed anymore. I might go ahead and pull the OBD1 plug out of it and stuff like that and make some room under here because we got to hook up the brake light or the brake switch and all that to the ECU that never got done. That way the torque converter will unlock and all that good stuff. So that's where we're kind of at right at the moment, and we're going to get all this ripped out, and then we should be able to get, well, I ran a wire over from the Heltec for the ignition power, turn everything on and off. Before it was like hanging, you'd shut the car off and it would just like stay running for like 3 seconds. So we're going to fix that, and then we're going to start wiring the gauge cluster into the Heltec dash. That way because nothing's going to work on this gauge cluster other than like the turn signal and fuel level sensor. So we might be moving all that over here anyways, and we're going to make all of that work properly. And then we got, like I said, everything's ran to the battery and whatnot now. So we're getting closer and closer to having this thing running again. And then we're going to have to address a bunch of other little issues after that. So let me get this ripped out and we'll keep moving along here. All right. We're back. Yeah. As you can see, I'm ecstatic. So we got the bulkhead all together. We got our pink wire for outputs here, and we got our starter wire, and then we got everything shrink tubed. We got the that whatever out of it. And I got yep, here we go. Walk around, mile and around. So I got the ECU pulled back out, got the USB hooked, all that. This is ready to go back up in there permanent. Got the Wi-Fi antenna on. Yeah, CAN bus all hooked up, all that stuff. Throttle pedal, all that. So, working on bypassing the starter, like I said, or the starter cut relay, like I said. So, I get under here, and we're getting ready to hook up the starter. And I said, man, this thing's been making some weird grinding noises every time I started it before I got it in here and started doing everything. They said they had issues with it cranking slow. Well, there's part of the issue why it's cranking slow. The next issue with the starter grinding and stuff is I'm not sure what's going on with this starter. So I'm going to have to take it out because the whole body, I don't know how well you can see, is kind of falling out or something. I'm not sure. So I got to figure out where I'm going to feed this signal wire back up and around because everything's pretty tight in here. So I wanted to get it up over the motor. Yeah, so I'm probably done for the night with this. It's like 8 o'clock at night now, and yeah, so that's where we're at with this. And I'll get this out tomorrow and see what in the world is going on with it. So we'll get to that, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or in the same video. All right, well, it's the next day or days because this car is making me crazy. So we got everything moved and all that good stuff. I fixed the starter. The bolts backed out on it on the inside. I Loctited them back in. Started filling with antifreeze, and there's no O-rings on the steam ports. So I just had to fight the O-rings out of the steam, or fight the steam ports off, put O-rings on them and get them back together. Now, the gigantic issue, because, you know, I drove this car in here, is got the ECU moved, all that. I think the wire I reused going to the ECU was not good, because everything works, throttle body, everything, car fires right up. Problem is, as soon as I crank the car over and start it, we lose our throttle pedal and disables the drive-by-wire, and the voltage drops to 0 when I start it. So, running new wire, 4 gauge now. So I got the ECU pulled back out, everything pulled back out, because it's fun, and we're running the new wire. So, the next thing on the address is I hooked all the power steering stuff up, all that, it was good, and then I realized when I turned it on, steering wheel shot all the way to the left, almost broke my arm. He had it hooked up backwards. So I got to flip these lines around, which is fine because I have the correct size fitting for the other side. And I'm just going to basically take this one with that fitting, put it on the return, done, and then just move that over there. And try not to make a huge mess of power steering fluid right now. So let me get this wiring ran, and then before I put it all back together this time, well, I'll fill it with antifreeze again, and also leave the ECU out and stuff in case I have to address anything with whatever the heck is going on here. I'm gonna have to chase that around. So yeah, let me get to it. All right, so with the Trans Am, back to our not filming anything, and we've been super swamped with stuff. As you can see, there's all kinds of stuff going on in here, out there, and construction on the building. But here we go. We actually have a nose on the car, and the issue ended up being, of all things, the throttle body, the Chinese throttle body. So as soon as, like I said, you'd start it, loose throttle, shut the car off, you'd get throttle back again. What it was basically doing, it was ground looping out and basically shorting itself out as soon as you started the car. If I can get this hood open, oh, it weighs. And we cleaned this up a lot more. We pulled those tranny lines that were coming out of the back over the top of the motor out, and they're in underneath where they should be now. We also had to pull the thermostat out. They put a thermostat in this with the electric water pump, and it would basically just suck the hose closed. So that's all fixed. Other than this fitting wants to leak completely, so I need to readjust this fitting and this stupid steam port fitting. I don't know what they did. Oh, filming the pipe. It looks like it's just threaded into the whatever. We're probably gonna have to switch over to a rubber hose. But the other big thing that we did is we made a cold air intake for the car, so it's not sucking hot air off the radiator. So it actually goes under the headlight and has a big cone filter in there. So that's all done. We're closing in on this thing. We're waiting for a cluster get printed to put the digital dash in it and not have it mounted with a cell phone mount on the side. So I've got to change the belt on this thing. We found the actual heater blower motor, so we'll have actual heat in this car. And I don't know where the wiper motor is. I kind of just got boxes of things that were randomly wherever. So we're closing in. Power steering's all fixed, works great. And then I got to figure out what the hell they did with these headlight motors and the headlight box. But you can see transmission controller's mounted on the firewall now. Everything's cleaned up in here substantially. We got good grounds on both sides of the block. Started adjusting a little bit with the ECU and stuff. We unfortunately have unknown injectors, so it's been a little bit of a battle to tune this thing a little bit. Getting there though, it will actually idle and drive to where if you hit the throttle at all, it would load up and stuff. So yeah, we're closing in on this thing. Don't know if I'm gonna film too much more on it, because basically it's just gonna come down to tuning it and other stuff and get it sent home. So there it is. But thanks for watching, guys. It just takes some simple things and some time, and you can really straighten stuff out. And that was the whole point of this video, is one disaster can be fixed without craziness. But the thing is take your time, put it together, and you don't have the craziness. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.